Hi there, welcome to the Halftime Huddle. This is just me today, which reminds me if there are any of you who would like to come along and speak, like we had Philippa Coles last week. Lovely conversation we had. I'd love to speak to some of you who are listening and come along, share your business, share some of your tips and tricks. Um, Today, the Halftime Huddle is just me, like I said. I'm still part of the 30 day going live in November challenge that I've set myself. And this is day 27. So we're coming to the business end of the November. This halftime huddle will continue. I'll do another one next Wednesday at least. But I'm coming to the end of my continuous live session, and we'll see what happens afterwards. May go live even more, and we'll see. But watch this space. There'll be something coming, some kind of celebration at least, and some kind of announcements about where it's going to go and what we're going to do following this. But that notwithstanding, welcome to the Halftime Huddle. If you are stumbling across this by accident, what are you doing around here? Yeah, you need to go somewhere a little bit more different and interesting. But if you want to stay along and find out what's going on here, then my name is Mark Webb. The halftime huddle is halfway through the week. It's an opportunity to spend a bit of time either talking with a business owner or sharing some tips and tricks about sort of having to keep yourself focused for the second half. The premise behind this is we often start the week with all good intentions. And we'll be talking a little bit more about this in that respect. And halfway through the week, life happens. And this is an opportunity to take a breath, take a step, take a think, and reschedule and replan. And that essentially takes us to what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the adaptability that you need when you're wanting to go fast. We've talked over the last weeks in November about the African proverb about if you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. Sometimes you need to go fast, and sometimes if you're going to need to go fast, you're going to need to be adaptable and be able to respond to things that are happening, which is sort of where we are. We talked yesterday about one of the key parts of when you want to go fast is to have clear focus, clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve, good step and goals. I didn't mention SMART goals, but SMART or smarter type goals is a good first iteration of what you're looking for in terms of getting some focus about what you're trying to achieve in this short, fast burst. But one of the and with that, you may think of measurements, what you're trying to output, what you're trying to get out of it, what you're trying to do, how you're trying to achieve, whether you're moving in the right direction or not. And one of the there's a quote, I think it's by Clausewitz, I think something like that. Who's a general who wrote some. I need to find out what the book is, but it's a book, a classic book on warfare, an old classic book on warfare. But he talks about no plan survives first contact with the enemy, and one of the enemies that we find is the environment that we're going into. Most of the time, we're living in a place where things are complicated, complex, and even maybe sometimes chaotic, and it's very difficult to second guess what the impact of what you're doing is and changing things. You can measure things and see what might be going on. There's a lot of opportunities in some, especially if you're online. There's a lot of stats you can measure. There's a lot of metrics you can take on, but essentially you're not 100% certain of the impact of what you're trying to achieve. You have some kind of plan, and this is where we talk about I'm going to talk about one of the key tools you can use to help you to do this. And this is what we used to use in the agile working practices, which is retrospective. Most of the time, these are regularly held, and there are where the team gets together to discuss some of the things that happened in the last time since they did the retrospective. And some of the learnings and the new changes they might want to do based around this. But this is something you can do on your own and personal. And one of the tricks when you're doing it on your own and you're doing something when you're going fast is to do it in so that you're not spending too much time. There is a if you continually stopping, think about where you're going next time. It may feel a little bit as if you're just slowing down. You're not going fast, which is part and parcel of why you're trying to do these things in the first place. You wanted to get some momentum going. You want to get some projects going. You want to get some changes and some growth happening quite quickly. So it may feel like you're slowing down, but there are a number of proverbs you might have heard from your parents and whatever that sort of highlight some of the challenges of trying to go too fast. Things like more haste, more waste, and the other one, you want to slow down to go fast. And this is one of the key points of doing this, is to slow down just enough that you can have a little bit of a look and see where you're going, but not slow down that you stopped, because starting back up again is quite difficult. So one of the challenges, one of the things, and there are a number of different ways you can do your retrospectives. Often the premise behind these, and there, like I said, there are lots of retrospective examples to keep things fresh. And when you're doing regular retrospectives, you may want to do things to keep things fresh a little bit, to change things up a little. But if you're doing it sort of personally, there's simple things like you want to spend a little bit of time thinking about what happened, and then you want to think about what was the impact of what happened in the last particular time. And you may want to start with a simple format to list the things you want to stop doing because you don't think they're making any difference, or they're reversing the impact or slowing things down. You may want to think of things you want to start to try new ideas. I used to call these things experiments because I wanted to get over the idea of these, whether there was a success or a failure. But I'm currently in the process of reading or rereading a book called Artful Making, and they discuss the idea of experiments, and they also discuss the idea of exploration. And one of the premises behind some of the idea of this is by doing these actions and taking these experiments and doing these changes, you also change the environment. So the environment changes. So it's not as if you're discovering, because it's not as if it's something that was there beforehand, and you just need to dig a little bit to find it, because it might not even have been there. It might be coming out of the changes that have been made in you as you go along doing the taking action. So I'm still trying to work out what you might want to call these things. Exploration. I don't know, but at the moment it essentially these are actions that you might want to take to see, or changes in your behavior you might want to take to see if they make a difference. So this is the start new things, and then there's the continue. But continue, maybe you want to continue with maybe a modification, maybe to change them a little bit, or maybe just continue because you think they're actually working. So I would encourage you, if you're going to do this kind of stuff for yourself, start with just that level of retrospective, and set a small time scale to do it. Could easily do these daily if you wanted to do it quickly. How did the day go? What do I think I need to change to make the day go better next time? And that's as simple as you want to go through. You might want to do them weekly. In which case, how did the week go? Are there things I want to stop because they're not working? Are there things I want to start because I want to try something different, see whether that makes a difference? Or are there things that I'm happy to continue with because I think they're working? And this is where we talked about how, going fast, you might want to go alone, but going with a coach helps you do these things, because coaching gives you regular points to stop and be aware. If you have a regular coaching session, or you have a program where you meet a coach for a particular time every so often, then these are good regular awareness points where you can do the kind of mini retrospective. You can do the kind of stopping and thinking about what you might do, and taking commitment to trying something different to maybe modify what's going on. There are other tools you can use. I have a daily morning journaling practice. That's a great spot to spend a bit of time thinking about how things have gone, what might be going. To be honest, these are fluid, open journals, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't always be in that, but it is an opportunity. I also do a bullet journal where I, write down things I'm planning to do today, and I also, get to this chance when I'm not doing this that as often as I could do, a little bit of how it went yesterday. I'm now also experimenting with a tool, and I'll put a link to where you can get this tool. Is Voice Notes, which is a link between AI and IE. It'll transcribe your voice notes and do a little bit of analysis of your voice and summarizing and stuff like that. So I'm playing with that, which is quite a cool tool. So the long and short of this is we're in the middle of the week. And in the middle of the week, to watch this is a great time to have a little bit of an inspect and adapt, to do a little bit of how's the week going so far? Are there things I might need to change and change direction slightly or change tack slightly? I would encourage you to do that regularly if you're wanting to go fast. It sounds like it's counterintuitive to stop or slow right down to take to take a view of what's going on. But the environment out there that we're working in is so changeable. Things can change really quickly that you should be aware and adaptable to make allowances for this. There are also ways you could do this. If something drastic has happened in the time of you doing a project, then it is a time to stop, see what happened, do an after effect sort of retrospective. So I would encourage you to have a little look at retrospectives. They don't need to be grand for something that you're doing if you're a single owner operator. Taking a long time out to do a retrospective every so often can feel like a lot of time, but doing them often and a little can help you pivot and change and react to what's going on, so that you get to the middle of the week, and while the shift happens, you can react to it and change to it. So I would love to hear your impression. Do you do retrospectives? Do you spend a bit of time doing this? How often do you do it? Do you do it daily? At the end of the day, do you think back about what you're doing? Do you do it monthly, weekly, quarterly, or do you just do it at the end of the year when it's time to make new resolutions? I'd love to hear your opinions on that. I would also love to hear a little bit more about if you want to come and have a chat. I am keen to spend some quality time discussing your businesses, talking about how you're getting on, and sharing this with people who may stumble across this in the ether. So with that in mind, I hope you have a brilliant second half. I hope you find some little nuggets out of what I've talked about today. If you did, I'd love for you to let me know what they were, and I'd also love for you to share this if you think this is something that other people might find useful. But in the meantime, have a great second half, and may your second half be your best half. And I will see you for live at the moment tomorrow, but I'll see you in the halftime huddle next week. This time next week. Hi there, it's the little end spot. I'll just move myself so you can see me a little bit better. This little end spot at the end of these little lives. I don't know whether I'll do that, whether anybody gets to them, but I will start to spice a little bit and put some little surprises at the end for you to share when you come to the end. But in the meantime, it's generally just going to be a little bit of a request for you to A, share this if you find it useful, and B, come along and have a chat. I'd love to speak to you. But in the meantime, I'll think about what else I might do to encourage people to stay along to the end, or even just fast forward to the end. In the meantime, have a great week, and may your second half, again, as I say, be your best half. So see you later.